Welcome back to another episode of Keoni Chats. So before we get this episode started, I need to retract a statement I made in my intro in Zach Kelly's episode last week, where I mentioned that I'll be taking a couple weeks off. I thought too far ahead, because after this episode with Cody McCormick, I will be taking a week off to refresh the eyes, let the mind work on something else, enjoy the road that I've been on so far with the show, and get excited for the road ahead and the slate of guests ahead. And also turn 29. So I love working on this show. I love, being able to give people like Zach, like Cody, this opportunity to tell their story on such big platforms like iTunes and Spotify. And, I remember when I first saw that the show made it on Spotify, I was like, wow, these conversations I'm having can be heard from someone across the globe because they have the same app. So it was a great feeling, and to be able to give people like Cody, this opportunity to have their story be told all across the globe is just amazing. And to see for them to see their names on Spotify and iTunes, that's a feeling that drives me to always continue to push episodes out and continue to keep working on this podcast show. So I do have an intro for an episode. That's why we're here. So, I met Cody during my time at Nike Portland, and that was my first job coming out of college. Eyes were bright. I was like, I just got a job with Nike. This is amazing. I'm going to end up on campus, blah, 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 blah. And my mind just went in fully open, ready to absorb as much info as I could and just be able to retain it and be able to use it when I am, helping people get the gear they need to run or lift more weights or whatnot. But out of all of the people that I've worked with and all the people that I've met, I gotta say that Cody is one of those guys that makes the time there the most memorable because, he's such an outgoing personality. He wants to talk with everyone. He wants to interact with everyone, whether how short or how long. He wants to make sure that you are, you have his attention. He's very attentive, which is just fantastic. And, what I learned from him is that even if you don't know what the topic is, you can still contribute in a conversation just by asking the right questions, and, looking and showing the body language that you want to know more. It was just amazing. So I was so happy to get him on the show. It was his birthday recently, so happy belated birthday, Cody. I want to get that on record. And even well before I knew it was his birthday, actually, he told me that he's a podcast fan. So, I was excited and I was, ready to put him on the show. I was ready to put him through the ringer. Not really a ringer, but, it was, he said that, oh, this could be a great birthday gift. I mean, sure, yeah. We'll count this as a birthday gift. So, I'm very excited for everyone to hear this episode or watch this episode. Also, we did experience a little bit of technical difficulties as far as some connection issues. It was bound to happen using Zoom as my primary form of conducting these interviews, as the world is still, processing through COVID-19. And, I can't have a good streak of perfect connection and perfect episodes all the time. So this was bound to happen. I think, though, that, right before the audio cut to where the audio starts up again, I believe that it can be one long cohesive thought. So I think it's still going to be fine. But, if you do hear a little bit of a drop, that is why. Or if you're watching on YouTube through the laptop or, on the YouTube app on your phone, if you do see, just Cody's picture show up, it's because there was a little bit of an issue with the video. So just want to get that out there. I don't want to just, never hurts to just be honest and open about it, the process. So before we dive into my chat with Cody, if you are a fan of The Flash, if you are a fan of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, I am working on the DC animated movies review. I am in the midst of 2016. I'm at the, let's say, middle to end of Batman: The Killing Joke. And, my goodness, I did not appreciate that movie enough the first time I saw it. I'm paying more attention to the plot. I'm paying more attention to the narrative. I'm paying more attention to the characters, and it's definitely something that a second viewing with a different perspective or a different directive in mind, because a lot of the animated movies leading up to that have been a lot of action, a lot of things going on, but this one's just a little slower on the action, but more on the mental game of it all. So if that sounds like something you want to check out my reviews, you can go to my website, Keoni Conlu, KEONICONLU.com. Go to menu, hit blogs, hit the DC picture. I mean, by hit, I mean click on it. And then you'll see my review broken down by the years. I tend to do around five or six videos per review, so that may be why you see some with 2 years, some with 1 year. So yeah, check it out if that's something you're interested in, and even if you're not, I'm still gonna do it because it's a lot of fun. I get to watch these over again, or I'll watch them again for the first time, and get to write about it. So writing, journalism, it all ties in together. So whether you are listening to this episode through Spotify or iTunes, or you're watching this on your computer through YouTube or a YouTube app on your phone, I hope you enjoy my chat with Cody McCormick. Cody McCormick, the man with the glorious stash. Welcome into the Keoni Chat's virtual interview. Super stoked to have you, man. It's I remember when I started at Nike, the first thing I remember about you is that mustache you're currently regrowing back. So for you, my first question for you, what makes a good mustache on a guy?
Well, first of all, you have to be able to grow one, like at least like around that area. If you have this little split in the middle, you have to rock that. Like you have to let it go,
Yeah.
So it's about really letting it go. You have to do like a lot of like clean shaves. I don't mean like you don't get an Arauco and just buzz it up. You have to clean shave, and you have to really, and you just stick with it. I don't know. I think what works for me is I have a big nose, so I have to have a mustache. Like that's what's worked for me the whole time.
So as far as experimentation, with facial hairs, because I've done the mustache a couple times. I have a beard going on right now. What are some of the other crazy ideas that you shaved onto your face and kind of rocked with like a day or so, or maybe just like 3 hours?
Like honestly, back in high school, this is funny because I can never do this again. But I used to just like I would go right here, like I would just keep it. I called it. I mean, let's not lie. It was the Bam Margera.
Yeah.
It was just right here. This was the only thing. It was like a chin strap. No mustache. So no mustache. No nothing right here. No, it was just chin. It was like it just lined out my chin.
There you go.
Getting older, you really cannot pull it off as well.
No.
That was something I rocked early with the facial hair.
Yep.
And somehow or the other, I don't know. It led to a mustache, and then it led to at least 2 or 3 of my tattoos that I currently have.
Oh, okay. That's a great segue. Okay, so I currently have just one tattoo, and then what I also remember about you is that you are tatted head to toe in some parts of your body. Now, what would you say to those that are kind of opposed to tattoo culture? I know it's kind of evolved since, let's say early 2000s to what it is now. So there are some people that have this negative stigmatism towards tattoos. What are your views towards tattoos in general?
Well, like one thing it's kind of worked against me, and like, cause I'm always in sales. Like I've been in sales for, like 10 years now. I know that makes me sound super old, but like it's been about 10 years in like some sort of sales and having a bunch of tattoos. Like you will always get that customer that will be like, hey, I know what that tattoo means, or like, like they'll always like even ask about it, and that's totally cool. Like I love that. Like I love when people ask, but really mine, they kind of started with like, when I was in high school, it was kind of weird. I always drew on my hands. I don't know what it was. Like I draw like little weird, maybe even like I'd cheat on like a math test or something and like put it on my hand. But like I always drew on my hand. I always had stuff written on my hands. And like now my hands that was the first thing I really got tattooed. And like even
Oh.
back when I worked with you, that was like 2000
I would say 16, 17, something like that.
15. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, I started Nike in like 14, and then when I met you, it was probably like 2016 or something. And my hands were fully blasted in. I just get small ones on like my fingers and hands, and my hands were pretty much covered of like stuff that I wanted. I don't want like fully like hand tats or anything like that. I just like the tattoos that I wanted at first were very small, and I just figured I'd knock those out of the way like early.
Yeah, of course, man. Now, what is a job that you really wanted and then because you had tattoos, just got the door and just said no to?
Man. Oh yeah, I actually have a perfect one, dude. Like this is a perfect one that I could not get because I had tattoos on my hands. So I can't remember what jobs I was in between. It's probably somewhere from where I'm at now, and then like, um, and then in between Nike, where I only have like within the last like 5 or 6 years, I have like jobs that I consider a lot more serious than those like in between ones.
Hmm. Hmm.
And one of them was like I was working in the snowboard industry, and I think it was right before that I wanted to be a flight attendant. I was like, I want to travel the world, and right down in Vancouver actually is like a very popular, one of the best schooling like flight attendant places that you can go.
Hmm.
Flight attendants, you don't think that that's like a guy's thing to do, right? I didn't think so, at least. I was like, I'll consider it. I went there, I had an appointment, and she so casually, Keoni, like looked at me and was like, you can absolutely be a flight attendant. We just have to remove all the tattoos from your hand.
Oh.
And I was like, that's a big process. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's going to take, I don't know, that's going to hurt first and foremost, worse than I probably got them. And that was the job where they were like, you cannot be a flight attendant with tattoos on your hands and any tattoos in general, not on your neck, like not on your hands, like arms. You cannot have them any visible way. And that was like kind of the eye opener for me, where I was like, I think it was because she was so casual about just like, we'll just get them removed and you got a job. And I was like, that sounds like it's probably gonna hurt first and foremost, and like probably be expensive. And I found out I could not be a flight attendant ever.
Mm. Mm.
My heart was broken. My spirit carried right on, and here we are, man. You know.
So you have an interesting look to you. You got the mustache, you got the tats, and then you also have the slick back hair, which I guess when you don't cut your hair, you still got right now.
It's kind of, I done put gel in my hair today, so.
So how often, maybe like walking down the street or just trying to get a job, do you get weird looks just based on your looks?
I would say it's more so at like, not so much because it's Portland now. Like it's weird because I live in Washington, but I always work in Portland. Always, I still do to this day. It's actually, I think it's sad enough. It's like 16 years that I've worked in Portland. That's like half of my life.
That is a long time.
So I always end up working in Portland, and their mustache pretty casual now. But I will say it's always when I'm at like a bar or like a social setting like that, to where I will like I'll see somebody that they'll like nice mustache, like I'm just like thanks man, or thanks whoever. Now we
Oh,
wear masks, so nobody knows, and everybody has mustaches. So,
that's true. That's true. It's
but
became very
I've had a mustache for a long time.
yeah. Yeah, you were the trendsetter for me at first. So I was like, okay, this guy can rock it. I think I can too.
Yeah, you probably rocked one for a while too at Nike. I know, like when we were working there, those were super fun times, man.
Oh yeah. Actually, I didn't start rocking a mustache until I call it my adult job, my Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So the previous one I had from now, I had it for the first time, and then everyone thought I was this football player, Gardner Minshew from Jacksonville Jaguars. They thought I was just a big fan. I was like, no, 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 just trying it out, see how it looks. So, and then prior to him becoming such a big thing, mustaches were really just synonymous with like negative stereotypes. So, how much of those
It
negative
is it
stereotypes?
was a negative thing. That's very true. It also like I feel like I don't know for some reason it's just kind of like now especially like a mustache. Like I wish I would have had one. I went to a wedding last week. I decided to clean up a little bit. I didn't rock the ghetto stash that I usually I still do it till this day. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's something about the stash that like it's like a if you see it like a even like an older gentleman or something like that, they will kind of even at like Fred Meyer's or Safeway or something, you're over there getting your groceries, they kind of just like you get those nods, it's like man nod, like
Yeah.
it's just sad. It's not like that so much so no more.
Uh,
So many people have them.
I know, man. I know, man. So
Mustaches, it's like we gotta think of something new.
yeah, hey, we could just do the opposite. Just take out the mustache and just have everything else. Go full Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
Now we're talking, man. We need to
Yes.
like trendset. Have the mustache connect to the like sideburns.
Ooh,
That
that was a good look.
that is heavy. I've not pulled that one off yet. I'm not sure I'm capable, but I don't know, man. Who knows what the future holds?
That's true. So
Mustache is young.
you are a Washingtonian, or I believe that's how they like to be called. Born and raised in Vancouver, or just living there right now. But then finding work in Portland, was there just nothing in Washington, Vancouver that really spoke to you, or was just everything that seemed like something you could do was just in Portland?
Yeah, I think that's more so like things I've wanted to do, or more so in Portland. Like I mean, my goal forever was like since I was out of high school, I don't think I got the job until I was probably like 6 years out of high school. Was Nike? I've always wanted to be part of that. Always wanted to do Nike SB, especially when they were involved with snowboarding. I was like, that's the route I'm going, and like I lived for it. Like I gave it my all, and then it just slowly like I don't know. Portland's just a lot more opportunity. Like U.S. Outdoor, I ran in from meeting people through Nike SB was how I got the job at U.S. Outdoor. So then I was strictly in the snowboard industry like that way, and then I worked a couple more Portland jobs. It just seems like it's a little more opportunity over there. It's a major city, so
Yeah.
wouldn't
So
you agree? Like,
yeah, I think if you were to talk about the Pacific Northwest and then you don't want to go to California, I would say yeah, Portland or Seattle would be the two big spots to try to make a career there. And for myself, trying to be in the broadcasting world, it's probably Seattle because of the Seahawks, and you're a big Seahawks fan. How do you feel about the season coming up, man?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you bring that up because your man Marcus Mariota, he's not a Tennessee Titan no more, dude.
I know.
How do you feel about him being a Las Vegas Raider?
You know,
I
I
don't know if that's a good fit for him, but we're gonna find out.
I think right now he's just a rebuilding project. So that's what I've heard and that's what I've read. It's like at first he came out the gate pretty hot, but then he's having little troubles and he's also learning a system. He's trying to get his mechanics worked out. So I think he's gonna be. I don't think he's not gonna take out Derek Carr. Derek Carr is
You
gonna be
don't
the.
think so? I think
I,
he will. I mean, he's better quarterback than Carr. Like
yeah.
Carr has been given the Raiders organization for how long, and he hasn't done nothing with it. I think we've even played in the same fantasy league for a couple of years, didn't we?
I think yeah, that sounds about
We
right.
did
Yeah.
at Nike. Like that
Yep.
was funny. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know if it was going to be a fantasy this year. I will say that.
Really, you want to do fantasy this year?
Oh, I'll do it. Yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I'm only doing one league so far, so I always do two. I'll do two leagues. Let's start a league, or let's do a league. Let's get
Nike.
some of the old friends involved. Let's run it.
Yeah, dude, we can do Nike alums. We can get, we can get Seth, and we can get anyone else. I don't know if Adam Chang is a big NFLer, but you know what? Let's bring him in anyway.
I would love to get Adam Chang in that. That's my guy. I'm very proud of like a lot of the Nike guys that are still doing their thing within that company. Like, because you kind of knew it. If you look back now, you kind of knew like if you stick with it, dude, you're gonna go as far as you want to with this company. And I love to see that stuff. You know, there's a lot of friends that I met at that. I don't think that I've ever had more friends from a job that I've worked than when I worked for Nike. You know,
Mhm. So
absolutely.
yeah, I want to talk to you about that. How you got into
Please.
Nike about this? You said about 6 years after high school, and then you
Yeah.
became what is it, a skateboard ambassador for Nike
Yeah.
Portland? How did that happen, man? That sounds
That's me.
awesome.
Well, nobody else skated, and like I was actually going for snowboard ambassador, but you know, like when you did your like one pager and stuff, like when you're doing, you know, when you're applying for a new position with Nike, they that taught me a valuable lesson of like your one pager, which is basically a different way to present yourself in a resume format.
Hmm.
So the way that I did it was, you know, and I had really good people to to look out for me when I worked at the airport. You know, there was like people that were very unique and diverse in their own approach with it. So when they like kind of formed me to like shape me up to go to Nike, a different Nike, you know, and I ended up landing at Nike Portland. It was, dude, you skate and snowboard, so like go for that, and that's the route that I went. I mean, and I beelined it for it too. I tried to do whatever I could to get there. I got there,
You
but
got there.
that's a very hard position to get. So
Yeah, and then I remember like I want to say maybe the last year or so when I was there, or maybe like half a year, they started integrating the SB into the lifestyle section. How did
yeah.
you feel
Oh,
seeing kind of your specialty kind of get brought in, and then I don't want to say like dissolve, but just spread out between a bigger department?
yeah, I noticed it too because like I was always doing stuff with like SB. Like I was still, even though I was working there, I was always like I would run the campus. Like I had like my little connections and stuff there. But like I noticed, especially when they like would move buildings and they're like, oh yeah, we're in the same building as like golf now, or like I think there was a couple other ones. It was like I think tennis for a certain portion, and like Nike was going through a lot of construction out there in Beaverton too, so that keep that in mind. But like, yeah, it started meshing with like other companies, and then you kind of seen it like go over in the like golf line, and then like golf line like kind of got cut out, and then yeah, that was I noticed a switch to where it was like it was a lot more like it was like a lot more athletic, you would say. Like skateboarding was a lot more like for athletes. Like, you know, it was like it got a little more athletic, like even to where it was like polo shirts, you know, with like the little collars and like
Mm-hmm.
3 buttons. And I don't know. Portland skate scene is not really like that, you know. Nowadays it probably is a little bit more because there's a lot of Nike skaters that live in the Portland area, but like it wasn't like that before. I remember when we had to dress our mannequins like in the SB section, and I'd just be like, oh, like man, that's I don't know about that, you know, like do you
Yeah.
remember that stuff?
Yeah.
Remember
I
taking
just,
staff dress?
yeah,
How cool that was?
that staff dress for SB, like I remember I got once, and then they're most like I get it. They're skateboarding shoes. They're made to be on a board. They're not made to be stood in for like 4 to 8 hours. But yeah, I always loved the style of SB. That was always what's nice and what drew me into there. It was the athletic kind of blend. So if I do need to like sprint to
Yeah.
the max station, I'll be fine. I'm good.
And it's still to this day they kill it. This is Frankie. This is my little cat. He does not like me at all. I think we're gonna go set him free.
Oh, there you go. Just
I'm
out into
kidding.
the fort.
Um,
So you're board sports, you're a skateboarder and a snowboarder. So which one came first and how did it come about?
Skating came first for sure. I got my first skateboard when I was like 8. It was a Santa Cruz with Venture trucks, and um, it had OJ wheels, and which are still very relevant companies to this day. Think you get them. And I still have my first board that I ever got. I had it. Um, I rocked it for a while. I was always like doing like little driveway skating. I don't know. The thing about skating was it was always in and out of my life, but snowboarding was once it was on. I mean, it never stopped. Like
Mm-hmm.
still to this day. I mean, that was such a weird year last year with like, or this year with all the COVID stuff. Snowboarding season just got cut down the middle. It was weird. I've never said goodbye to snowboarding like that, like I did this year. But I would say that would be the main difference is like I've always skated, but that's like periodically. Like I skate more now than I ever did, but I've once I got on the snowboarding, that has never stopped. Snowboarding is like taking over for sure.
Yeah, it's been a weird year outside COVID. It's just been hotter and longer into the year hotter. So I imagine there's not a whole lot of snow left up there in Mount Hood or Bachelor or wherever you go to
Oh,
shred.
it's still rocking up there. Timberline, where I usually snowboard, there's you can still go right up there, but nowadays, like in the summertime, it's just all pros up there. It's very expensive, and
Mhm.
you can't just ride. It's only jumps and rails, pretty much, is how that works right now.
Ah. So how would you compare the snowboarding scene in Portland versus the one you've seen in Washington? Granted, Washington, I'm sure there's more mountains to go down, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've always I started snowboarding in Oregon, so I've rode a lot of Washington mountains, pretty much all of them. When it comes to skate parks, though, like skateboarding, there's a lot better parks in Washington. I will say that. Portland's got just anywhere in Oregon. You're gonna like. It's funny because the Northwest is actually the biggest like square inch per capita skateboarding like skate park wise in the whole world. So there's more skate parks in Idaho, Washington, and Oregon than there is anywhere in the world. And I don't know. I definitely caught on that and like, damn, like we've ventured out to like so many skate parks, especially lately. Like I really like kind of skate a little different now that I'm older. Like
Hmm.
so, I don't really go as big skateboarding, but like I like to just like kind of conquer park. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love pins, and I never thought I would. I never thought much of them, and it wasn't until I went to the Pins and Patches Expo in Portland in 2019 that I met Amy and Jason Lewag of Little Shop of Pins. I was hooked. Now, what really caught my attention about that company and them in particular is that Jason's Filipino. I'm Filipino. I need to support a fellow Filipino that's trying to do something great. So, Little Shop of Pins, they have been guests on my show. I'm always going to shout them out whether they want me to or not because I love the stuff that they are producing and I love the creativity and I love the collaborations. They just came out with a collaboration with Ryan Smallman for the Joker from Joaquin Phoenix's most recent rendition. So check them out. They're fantastic. If you love any kind of pop culture, if you love food, they do. I believe it's In-N-Out. They've done the shake cup and they've done some fries. They do so many things. They are an amazing company to go buy your wearable art from. So that's littleshopofpins.com. Check them out and just be blown away. Yeah. So you're not dropping down on any half pipes, not.
Oh yeah, definitely dropping in the half pipes, dude. Like, I love that. I actually taught my girlfriend how to drop in, and
it's just
been pretty good.
Okay, so I learned to skateboard, not like skateboard the way you do, but just skateboard. Let's say to go to class, so just traveling skateboard. It's terrifying when you like the slight movement and then you're losing a little bit of control. Then who knows? Where does this fearlessness come from to do the snowboarding, the skateboarding, and just kind of put yourself out there?
Well, honestly, the fear kicks in more like if I'm straightforward, but like for some reason I have like a balance this way, you know what I mean? Like surfing, skating, snowboarding. I feel more balanced going this way than I do like on a bike or if I was like skiing or whatever else you ride like that. Rollerblading. If I was going forward like that, the fear is completely there, but like it's still there if I'm riding sideways. It's just like it will take a lifetime to be comfortable.
The is supposed to keep the air going down. Yeah.
Exactly. But like like honestly, like it's took a lifetime to be comfortable in any of it. It really is. Like just something I've never focused more on that than anything else. Like, that's the only thing I've always ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it took me like I would say maybe 13, 14 years to like really get comfortable with weightlifting, for example, because I did it during football. So it takes repetitions. It takes those times where you fall on your face or fall on your ass.
Always.
Just want to like, okay, I could beat this.
If you want to be good at anything, you have to start from the bottom. Like you're always gonna have to start like at the exact bottom and kind of you build your own way up. I am attracted more towards things that I have full control of. I've always played baseball, my own destiny on. Those are things that like I don't know. You see results faster, I guess, that way. Does that make sense? Is that fair to say?
So your mic kind of cut out a little bit during your baseball story. Could I get that one more time?
Yeah, like so when you're in like a team sport like a baseball or like football, which I always played, like especially baseball, that was always my sport. Like I love that, but you just in a self-involved sport like something like a skateboarding or snowboarding or I mean there's so many different ones now, like you can put it really to anything that's just like the way that I've always been attracted to something that I can kind of see results fast, and in individual kind of sports like that, I don't know. Like you see yourself getting better, like you're not going to ever stop, like a weightlifting or running. I spent years in running, like, and I barely ran.
I
But
do.
like,
I do remember
but
that.
I
Yeah.
did, like, and like something like that, you see results fast, like, so that kind of the thing that I had to relate to something like that was, I've always skated and snowboarded and just kind of did things the individual way where you see progress. I still do that to this day. I don't think that formula will ever end for me personally. That's always been something that I've very much been attracted to.
Who taught you that formula?
Dude, man, I will tell you, I don't think that it was ever taught. I think that it came from working so many jobs where that I know what I don't want to do.
Mm.
Like I did a lot of just a lot of warehouse, like a lot of pack your lunch up and you head to work and you work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then you're off for the weekend or whatever, and you get the same paycheck every weekend or every couple of weeks. I think like that kind of stuff is what brought me towards like sales, where like you know your your paychecks can kind of vary, I guess, in that sense. Like you can have better months than, it might be a bad month and you have a lower paycheck or whatever. But I think the individual performance thing, once I got onto that, where it was like, you're as good as you want to be. If you put the time in it and you really want this, there you go, man. And like, I've always been a fan of that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, would it be fair to say that you don't like the idea of being complacent? You don't like the idea of just finding that one spot you like and sticking with there for X amount of years?
Well, I mean, it's smarter. Like being complacent, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been complacent. It's like actually that's comfortable. You know what I mean? But kind of putting yourself in an uncomfortable position is like where you kind of risk it. Like you can either be way up or you can be like or it can vary. Like you just never know. And I like that more. It's
Mm.
more interesting. Like
Okay.
I've probably been more complacent than I have with like something that there's really no telling. Like I probably stayed more complacent. I think it's all that time of being complacent that it kind of drives me away from it. Like I've done that. It's
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. You know what you're gonna get. I kind of like to, I don't know, like see if you can get a little more, or maybe you'll get a little less. I'm in a hell of an industry now. I'll tell you what. Like,
Yeah, no, like complacent for me, it's a slippery slope. So it's like that's why I'm trying to like. It seemed like for you, it's like you like that thrill of a little bit less, a little bit more. How's this gonna happen? And that's what's awesome. And like, what am I right? It's like you're always challenging yourself. And for me, yeah, it's like when I get complacent, like say in a relationship, then it's like I just forget to move. I'm like, oh damn.
absolutely.
But yeah, so your work. You are a car salesman at Toyota. I'm not sure where exactly, but I follow you on Instagram. We follow each other. I see the stories. I see you selling stuff in a world ample of COVID, which I have a little bit of series of questions when it comes to that. How is it being a car salesman right now?
Well, it like, man, I hate it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I don't know, like how else to put it. I mean, it's it's the worst, most interesting job I've ever had.
Okay.
Like
You want to explain that one?
you never know.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I definitely am happy to do that. I should have done it probably a lot earlier, and then if I'm as old as I am now, I would have maybe got out of it and like learned a lot from it. Who knows, man? Like I definitely am stoked to do that what I do right now. And yeah, I work at Ron Tonkin Toyota over in Portland, and I have a lot of friends that work at the Vancouver Portland. So I kind of just like went to the rival team on that, which was kind of fun. Still in Portland. I don't know why. Thank God it's not downtown Portland. Like I've worked for the
Ooh.
last like 7 years now.
Yeah. Especially right now with the
Exactly.
protesting going on. You would not be working, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on downtown. Like I don't think that. I mean, I don't know how that people would, especially if you live in Washington. There's no way that you're just taking the max like casually back and forth to work, which I did forever. Like that was a trip in itself. I don't think that that's possible now. I jump right on the over the bridge in 205 and I'm to work in 10, 15 minutes. Like,
Hey, there you go.
yeah, I work with some of my good friends that I kind of grew up with. A lot of my good friends do that. Like they all gravitated towards commission sales very early. And that's something that I've always been in sales. I've never made commission off of it. And that's something that I kind of wanted to try out. And I've been doing it for 9 months now with a little break in between. And I got to say, yeah, dude, it's like I think it's something that everybody should try. I mean, it'll definitely teach you a lot. You have to have thick skin. You'll know if you're meant for that type of work very fast,
Yeah. So, yeah, commissions. That for me, I said no to commissions just because I do like that consistency. Like, okay, I can budget better
Absolutely.
when it comes to like I know how much you can here. When you approach, let's say I'm walking through the door, I need a car.
Yeah.
How are you viewing me? Are you viewing me as a person that needs help, or are you viewing me as a way to make commissions?
Well, I think, like, honestly, and I bet you a bunch of people would have different outlooks on this, but honestly, God, this is exactly how I look at it. Is like, I look at you like I want to make a friend. Like, I'm not in that to just like make some crazy money or something like that. I've met like, I always think that like whatever job you're doing, like be like a good person about it. I don't know. Like I always think of like just trying to really find what somebody needs. It goes back to what I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find you what you want, and like I'm not the type of person that's gonna like try to convince somebody to buy a car. Like if you want to buy this, I want to sell it to you. Like it's a fun industry, man. Like it's really fun. It's like it's kind of I always think of it like when you go to work, you never know. You never know what kind of day it's gonna be. You might run into somebody that's like just gonna fully, hey man, like I want to buy this car and I want to sell you this car, and you're just kind of sitting there in the middle, like there we go, like we have a deal. I want to like hook people up. So it's what I've been doing forever. It's like my job is always like hooking people up. I'm like the middleman. You know what I mean? And like
being creative is hard. Whether you're at a home gym or at the actual gym, and you're kind of standing around, looking around, and trying to figure out what you want to do next, or figure out what muscle group you want to work next, it could be exhausting because you just want to get in, you want to do the work, and you want to put in the sweat equity, and then just go home. But if you're finding yourself kind of lost, kind of lacking motivation to get the workout done, and you need a little kick in the pants. I felt this way, so I'm not dogging you if you are feeling this way. Then I got the person for you. If you're a female listener and you need help getting back into shape because of quarantine or because your gym has opened up and you're not comfortable going back to that gym, then check out Jessica Ashman. So go to jessicaashmanfitness.com, hit book on the page, and follow the steps afterwards to confirm your appointment. And if you are bulking up, or you want to tone up, or you want to work on your legs, or you want to work on your upper body, whatever you want to work on, Jessica will develop the plan for you, and also along that, she'll also help you with any goals. And she wants you to succeed. If anything, that's the biggest thing you can take away from the experience with Jessica. She wants you to succeed. So check out JessicaAshmanFitness.com, hit book on the page, and then follow the directions afterwards to solidify your appointment with her.
Yeah.
The best looking middleman with the best stash.
I still have the mustache. You cannot see it so much, and that is a very risky thing if you're a salesman. It's like
That's true.
But we have masks now,
So you should be good to keep it growing out.
keeping it growing out.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
9 months, we just turned this September. So you started, I want to say maybe like late December-ish. That seems like the 9-month mark. How was selling the car or just interacting with customers coming in pre-COVID and then now into COVID?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. Honestly, when it first started and there was that very unfamiliar part where nobody knew what COVID was capable of, or it ends up being a very serious thing, I guess. Nobody knew what it was going to do. So that initial period was the only downfall that I've had. And then as soon as I think it was May, it was pretty much May, so the 5th. So it was a 1 month period. And as soon as May hit, it was I mean, there is no shortage in people buying cars. I don't know what it is. I've never had a bad month there. I don't know. People buy. People want that. And there is, I think that's a misconception too, because people, when they come in, their natural thing is to of course you don't like the car salesman, you know what I mean? You have to win over people's trust, and that's why you have to just be cool, I don't pressure people to buy. I just try to provide the information so when they're ready to purchase, they're going to purchase from me. Make a friend, right? So in that sense, there's been no slowdown of that. I feel like there's been a lot more. The only problem is there's less inventory. So you don't have as much stuff. There's been a lot of problems with that. That's been the more so kind of sketchy thing about working in that industry is there's been factories that make small pieces for, I work for Toyota, so make small piece for the Tundra or the Tacoma, even some of the, a RAV4 or something like that, they make a small little plastic piece for it, and those companies are shut down. So now that's stopping them from providing new inventory. And that was a big thing to kind of conquer and kind of stick it out through. There's big changes from when I started there to when I came back to where I'm at now, is the whole squad is kind of just everywhere you work ever. It's never going to stay the same. Your crew is always going to get different, and that was kind of the main thing, was working through the short inventory with big customer base, small inventory, and just kind of making it happen and winging that. It's still slowly coming together, but I've never had a shortage of selling cars. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's funny how it works. I will say I am the type of person that is straight off of walk-ins, phone pops. I kind of work like that. I follow up with people that are very interested, or I never really even sold a friend a car. I kind of work more of people that just come in or people that call in. I kind of wing it like that. I think it's fun though. It's a cool way to keep it.
Yeah, and did you worry at all that maybe you might be out of a job in case if it continued like that?
That's what I mean. There was never a time where because I don't get hourly, it's all commission on that job. And it's not even like it's big. You have to work for it. If I didn't want to go to work every day, or if I wanted to like not make the effort to try to reach out to people or like talk to people and stuff, you don't want to answer phones. You don't want to like greet people when they walk in. You're not gonna make money. Like you can do the lazy way, a month of like not selling your car or something, and that's gonna kind of test you mentally. You're gonna like I don't even know if I could. I've got so many customers that just show up here and they don't want to buy, or they just like make you work for them for 4 or 5 hours, maybe 2 or 3 days in a row. Imagine that. Like if like somebody were to come in, if you related it to like a Nike sense, like they come in and they try on like 20 pairs of shoes and they're like, all right, we're going to go buy some Adidas. No, you know what I mean? Like that's going to happen. Like that's just how it goes. And like kind of just working around that, that's been something to get used to. But I've never, honest to God, never had a time where I've just had a 0 cars a month sale or something like that. Like I've never. It's been busy. You'd actually have to try to not sell cars. You would really have to kind of hunker down and be in the back and be on your phone, YouTubing or whatever you do. Like you'd really have to try to not sell them, because there's gonna be people that, even if I don't know much about cars. Like I'm not like a big car guy. I'm more of like someone you can trust to like buy a car from. Like I'll hook you up. Like you want this car, I'll get you the best deal I possibly can. Trust me on that. Like, and especially for friends, but I really haven't sold to many friends. I have a lot of friends that work for Toyota and stuff too. They work at other dealerships, and I have friends, most of my friends, weirdly enough, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older or something, like, but my crew, like a lot of them are salesmen, like when it comes to cars. So none of my friends buy from us, like each other. Like they all they'll probably go to somebody else. Like it's kind of a weird thing. Mostly strangers.
So you work in a job where you don't know how much your paycheck's going to be, and then you've worked in jobs in sales where your crew is revolving door. Sometimes it's always moving, and you work in Portland when you live in Vancouver. How do you stay mentally resilient, and how do you stay as flexible as you are and still wake up in the morning with the biggest smile on your face and attack it like it's just every single other day?
And you got to enjoy your days off, and you got to find people that are like down to do the type of things that you do. Luckily, I got a girlfriend that's like, she's equally kind of like, I don't know, like she's kind of crazy, like in the sense that she's down to like go kayak and then like go hit up a skate park that we've never been to. That's like 2.5 hours away, and like some random lake, and we'll just kind of roll out there. And it's like, I say it's enjoying your days off. I am never the type of person that like, I do not like to work on my days off. I've done it plenty of times, but I like my time off of work. Work doesn't define me. Like that's what makes me like happy to be there all the time. So I'm good right now.
Yeah. And so when doing research on you and trying to figure out what topics I want to touch base on with you, I did see a lot of outdoor activities. So how has the outdoor activity scenery been? So let's say like you're going to a lake, for example. How has that metaphorical lake been since COVID started? And being outdoors is just so much more, I guess, preferred versus being indoors.
So now they're like, it's so weird because I've always been from the Northwest, so like I know so many spots around here that like I always like try to kind of go where people. It's not like the most populated spot, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when COVID like all started, I was like, oh my God, like that's so great because I know so many places that like people are never gonna go. And like then everything kind of opened back up now and it's nice because, like that's most of the good spots are like lakes, skate parks, everything. The mountain, snowboarding, like all that was closed, like I got a cool bike, but the very first time that I rode it, I got like a really nice, expensive bike. Very first time I rode it, I hit a big jump that my girlfriend talked me into doing. I flipped over the handlebars. It's all on video too. It's on my Instagram somewhere on there. I hope you don't see it because
Oh, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find
you'll
it.
probably find it. Yeah.
I'm like a bloodhound sometimes.
You talked me into it, dude. I don't know.
Well, it's weird. It's for me. It's like I'm back in elementary school where we have to go find something to do. Like, oh, hey, let's go find this cool park and go hang out on the play structure or
Right?
something like that.
Crazy.
It's taking me back to my childhood.
So what have you been doing to keep yourself like just because you look good, you look like you're definitely taking good care of yourself. Like I love to see that. Like what have you been doing in these weird past times, man? Because what a weird time to be. We're supposed to be happy and in the prime of our lives right now.
It's 2020, start of a new decade.
Yeah.
Uh, honestly, dude, like I just try to do things that otherwise I would yawn at or just not have interest in. Like I read a book for the first time in like 10 plus years.
I couldn't tell you the last time.
It was about Nike. So I mean,
Was
not
it the Phil Knight book?
no, it was actually called the Nike Effect. So it was a negative
Uh,
view on Nike.
oh,
still,
really?
still love the swoosh, still rep it, but then I just want to get the other side of it. I want to hear what other things are going on. So there's that, and then just get outside, get some cardio in, and just try and
Yeah, I see you've been like conquering some runs and stuff like that. I love to see that, man.
yeah, it's a pain and a half, especially like hills. Like I work in Lake Oswego now, so
Nice.
it's hill central. It's if I want to go run the PCC, then I have to climb a hill that's literally vertical. So I'm like, great, this is gonna suck, but let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
So this is the question, Keoni. What are you running in?
Oh, I'm running in Adidas. No kidding. I would never wear that.
Oh,
Run into Pegasus.
I skate in Vans, bro. I don't even skate in Nikes. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I still have like probably like 6 or 7 pairs of Nikes, but that's out of like 60 pairs that we had. And like, oh my God, you
Yeah.
can get more Nike stuff than you ever wanted. Like working there.
I've actually kind of downsized my Nike inventory because it's not just like from that book I read. It's more of I'm realizing there's other things out there. There's Under Armour.
Very much so.
Yeah, like Under Armour. I like them because Project Rock stuff, and then it's just something different. And I get into Vans. I would get into Vans. I would rock those. Sure.
Well, it was nice to like just because I'm like I worked in running, so like I have all these like very high cushion shoes and stuff, and I've broke both my feet before, like so my feet don't. I'm used to like flat. I like Chuck Taylors, you know what I mean, which is branch off Nike now, I guess, with Converse, but like I like the flattest shoes possible, and I had probably at one point, I'm not even gonna lie, when I lived downtown Vancouver, I had about 20 pairs of running shoes, all Nike, like, and that's just from working there for a couple of years. And they were all like thick cushion or the freeze, but like just wearing a thin, flat shoe, oh man, dude, it's just like, it makes me feel like 4 years younger, and when you're over 30, dude, 4 years younger, like you do what you can to feel like that,
How'd you break your feet?
Snowboarding, both of them.
What else have you broken from snowboarding and or skateboarding?
Oh man, there's been a few, yeah. Ribs, feet, all my fingers, my front teeth. Just a couple concussions. I don't know. Like most of them are, yeah, pretty bad ones. But that's like, you gotta understand, like that's something that I've pretty much stuck with forever. So it's not like I just go a couple times a year and ride down the mountain. You know, like this is 80 times a year. A lot of the times when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and stuff, like I would straight, you know, winter time comes around, I quit my job and I'd just ride all the time, 80 times a year. That's what I always say. And like, you'll like learn a lot, but just like anything else, man, if you oversaturate yourself with something like that, you're definitely, especially something like that where you go kind of bigger, you know, it's snow, your board strapped to your feet, you can send a little bit bigger on that, and you're gonna go down if you do that every day. There's no doubt. So yeah, I probably have like, I don't know, 10 surgeries from snowboarding, I think.
Jeez, man.
Including this one, the last part.
You got some battle wounds.
Battle wounds, yeah. A lot of crazy tattoos from it too.
So yeah, earlier you mentioned that you got a few tattoos inspired off your mustache.
Yeah.
Please elaborate.
Okay. First of all, I do want to point this one out because this is one I just recently got. This is, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to bend my arm that way, but this is a pendant that I actually made. I was working at the airport, Nike, and me and Perez Westbrook, you know, he goes by Gaijin Arts, like that's my guy, very talented artist. And we created this, like, it was more so him. I just shot out a couple ideas, but he was talking about making like these pendants. He actually makes pendants like this. I have the Talented People sack right here. He was like making like zipper pulls, like the PDX carpet, like that.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, you should make me like a skateboard. And then we just kind of shot ideas off each other for a couple of days. And then he's like, yeah, dude, like I'll make it like wood grain, you know, like a skateboard. And I was like, yeah, like. Then he's like, dude, I'll put grip tape on it, like a skateboard. And I was like, then he brought this box, and like, I still have the box to this day. It's in my room. I'm not going to go get it. I swear to God, I have it. I'll never not have it. I love stuff like this. And the original one that he made me, and it was this, like, it was like he formed it into a heart, like a broken skateboard heart. And he just called it Tough Love. And it said Tough Love on it, on the case. And I was like, that's so sick, dude. And like,
Dude.
I was actually scheduling another tattoo appointment, and I was just like, hey, if you got like an hour on you, I would love to get it. So that's like the last one. Yeah, I've been getting a lot lately. I got the tiki guy. There's really no meaning behind the tiki guy other than like just tiki vibes are, I don't know. I've just always loved tiki vibes. So how does that sound? That was a good one.
What is the most craziest idea for a tattoo that you've had that you can remember?
Oh man, I know what it is. It's like, it's my whole side right here. I don't really want to like show it, but like it pretty much goes halfway through my back and my whole side right here, and then this whole side. And that was my least favorite idea of a tattoo, which I didn't know it was going to be that big.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I knew it was going to be Apollo Tattoo. Evan, very, very good artist. I've never met a tattoo artist like him. He drew it on me, and then he just drew it so big, and he was like, "Are you ready?" And I was just like, "Oh my God, that hurt so bad." Yeah, that was the worst experience of a tattoo I've had. Otherwise, they're all pretty much like, you know, a lot of just fun nights where we might be out on a trip, or it might be somebody's birthday, or we have a tattoo artist in the house, and that's how most of them have gone down.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
So tattoos, they're a form of body art. So for you, I noticed that your photography is, a way of you express your artistic side.
Thank you.
How did you discover photography?
I actually, I got, when I was fresh out of high school, I wanted to be a screen printer. And like, I worked at a screen printing place. It's actually one of the biggest ones that you can work at. And it's here in Washington. I won't say the name though. And like,
You got a Washington job, though. You got a Washington job.
it was actually a Washington job, right? Yeah. And then like 5 years later too. So I worked there, and that was definitely a time where like it kind of brought out. It was right after high school, so I was used to having like. What about that job?
One more time. Sorry, your mic has been cutting in and out. So, what were you saying?
I was telling you about. I was telling you about one of my previous jobs on that. What was it?
It was a screen printing job you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see how you were talking about how it led into your photography.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So, like that. So the funny thing, that was the very first job that like I got a bonus on and stuff like that. Like I was actually part of a real job. And when they actually let me go after like 7 months of being in their warehouse. And when they did, they gave me a bonus. And when they gave me the bonus, they were like, hey, we just want to let you know, we do not want to, there was something about like, we don't want to let you go, but we're going to give you like extra money for letting you go. And I bought the first camera. I swear I had the first camera out of my whole crew of friends. It was a Canon Power Shot. I got it from Costco. Great camera. I ended up selling it. I wish I still had it. But that was the very first thing where I would heavily saturate my photos. And if you look at them now, most of them are really bad. But the one cool thing that I had about that camera was I could capture people in midair.
Oh,
so like, we did a lot of levitating pics where you would like kind of jump and you would just capture them in midair, and that's kind of what branched it off. Like what made me think for a second about like taking photos or like having any type of eye for photography was having a good camera. I mean, I literally spent every single penny that job that let me go. Like I spent it all. It was like at the time, dude, like 2013, I think I spent like $800 on a camera.
Oh man.
And it was like, they gave me like $799. You know what I mean? Like I literally spent every penny, and that was just, I got a lot of good footage from that camera too. Should have never let that thing go. Damn.
And photography and then videography or just podcasting, it's an expensive hobby. It's an expensive passion.
Definitely.
It's, for you to invest all that bonus into camera work, it's, it's a lot of dedication right there.
That was early. Never thought of it like that then.
Yeah. Now, what are you using now for camera, for your photos?
We have a
Nikon 5500.
She has a Nikon. We shoot with that a little bit. We do. That's most of like the high resolution photos. Other than that, a lot of phone, man. Like because your phone is on you.
Yeah.
And GoPro 7. Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Five.
Go. it's
GoPro 5.
Yeah, GoPro Cinco, we'll call it.
A lot of GoPro. She has a Nikon and all iPhone.
Yeah. It's the iPhone, it's great that the camera is becoming more and more, pristine, more sharp. but it's also turning people into photographers that they are actually not. So what are your thoughts on those photographers, quote unquote?
Hey man, everybody's a photographer, but it doesn't matter about the image you shot. It's like kind of, to me, it's how you looked at it. Like you can walk right outside of wherever you're at right now, and you can have some crazy image of the sun hitting a tree going through the bushes, and if you capture it, then that's like, that's kind of photography. It's more the eye, like
Mhm.
um, you can go to any of these really cool spots like Trillium Lake, get a really cool picture of Mount Hood. You can go hike and get to the top of this destination and like take a really cool picture of the gorge. That's relevant. If you have a good camera, that's going to give you an even better picture. I personally, I like if somebody can create imagery through like, I mean, it really doesn't matter what kind of camera you use. Most of the good cameras are on our phones. And like, I've stopped actually using, I actually sold my camera to someone that that we worked with, which I won't say her name. Like, I sold it to her, and I want that thing back because it was the best camera. But no, like it's really about imagery to me. Like you can put yourself in a really cool position, and you can do all the work for it. You can hike to this spot. You can like wake up early and be here for the sunrise at this spot, and you can capture it. That is definitely, you are a photographer if you do the work for it like that, or whatever you do. But
Yeah.
I think it's capturing like the image. You know what I mean? Like I like that personally. I like when somebody can kind of capture the just like the moment. You know what I mean? I like that.
Well, Cody, the image is captured. Everything is in clear focus. We're done. You made it through your first podcast. I know you're a podcast fan. So how does it feel to get this first one underneath your belt?
Well, I gotta say, man, it is an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, dude. I've been looking forward to this. I love what you're doing. You are crushing it, my friend. I've always had faith in you, Keoni. You've always been one of my favorite people that I've met, especially in my Nike career. My short-lived but long-lived, you know what I mean? I left a little bit of a stamp over there. Let's not lie, man. And I met some really good people along the way, and you're definitely one of my favorites, and you're killing it at what you're doing. It's an absolute honor to be on this podcast, bro. I will do it anytime. If you want like a sequel to this later down the road, a couple months later, I'm sure I will be into some shenanigans by then.
Dude, you are in the best sense. You are a talker, and I love it because, I can have one little nugget, and then you just explore it out. You explore everything from A to Z, and that's awesome because then it just gets a conversation flowing. But Cody, where can people find you on social media?
Mad Visual on Instagram, Facebook, just Cody McCormick. I don't really have any other social media platforms other than that. I mean, Mad Visual on Instagram. That's with two D's. That's usually the one that I'm more social on. Like, I like Instagram. I like to upload a little bit of like my little journeys here and there. So always trying to keep it interesting, live an interesting life, be an interesting person, and just be a good person. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I've been through a lot of stuff, and I really enjoy learning from people and being with people. So I value that a lot in life.
Yeah, man. And for those that are listening, if you need a car, go to this man, Ron Tonkin, Toyota Portland. He will hook you up. He'll get you the best year because it's not about getting the commissions. For him, it is about getting you in the car that you need and getting you going on to the best life that he can.
Absolutely. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, you can holler at me at just Ron Tonkin Toyota. I mean, I'm always there. I work bell to bell whenever, I work Monday through Wednesday. I have Thursday off, and I work Fridays. and Saturdays and Sundays, and I never leave that place. Very dedicated to what I do, and I love to meet people and like to just give them, you know, the best experience that they possibly can. Customer service has been one of my favorite things, and probably always do it, you know.
You're going to be great at it, man. This personality you have of outgoing and talkative, and it just fits your, you know, this career path you've chosen for yourself. So
Thank you, man.
very happy for you. You know what? It's sky's the limit, really.
Very true, man. And same for you, man. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, I always support you, dude. Like I said, you've always been one of my brothers that I always look up to, man. Like, always loved, like, I actually taught you the little Nike way, man. Do you remember? I think I was one of your trainers, like, back in the day.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, you're one of the guys that I shadowed for a little bit, and you know your cool demeanor when it came to like saying, "Hey, dude, do you want that shoe? Let me get that for you." Boom, boom. And I was like,
whenever they had the schedule blocking, and I was like, "Oh, Keoni's over and running today." Like, woo, we're gonna have a good day, man. Hey, bro, I love you. Thank you so much for having me on here. And anything you need from me, man, you always got a friend of me. So.
Hey, you too, man. If you need anything, let me know.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the interview. Do you have any follow-up questions for the guest? Well, throw them in the comments below, and I will get them answered for you. So if you like what you heard and you want to hear more from Keoni Chats, the show can be found on Spotify and iTunes. If you want a video version of the show, that can be found on YouTube under Keoni Chats. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified when a new episode is released. If you want to connect with KC Media and Keoni Chats, go ahead and follow KC Media 13 on both Instagram and Twitter. And you can go ahead and like and follow Conluke Media, which will also take you to KC Media's page. And if you want to become a guest, go ahead and email me at kcmedia13@yahoo.com, and we'll get something scheduled. And you can also just request to have an interview with me through any of the social media platforms I just mentioned. So until the next episode, everyone please take care.